National land under Belize's law is described as being all lands and seabed other than reserved forests within the meaning of the Forests Act, including keys and parts thereof not already located and granted, and excludes any land which has been or may hereafter become escheated to or otherwise acquired by the government of Belize. Now, that is a definition that will come into play in Belize's courts, as the Cotton Tree Village Council has opted to take the government to court over 265 lots that are being distributed to residents of Belize City. It is an issue that has been brewing for some time now, as close to 2 months ago, a dispute had erupted outside the confines of the National Assembly building in Belmopan City between stalwarts of both the ruling party, the United Democratic Party, and the main opposition, the People's United Party, based on these very same lots in the Cayo district that the current administration had begun surveying with the purpose of distributing to Belize City residents. Well, the issue pretty much simmered. That is, until last Friday, when the chairman of Cotton Tree Village Council, Oscar Otero, with the support of the area representative for Cayo South, Julius Espat, acquired the services of attorney Andrew Marshallek to take legal recourse against the way the distribution of the lots are being carried out. Otero addressed the media last Friday, saying that he is discontent that the government chose to bypass the village council and single-handedly began subdividing a piece of land into lots and distributing them to persons of their choosing. Following Otero's outcry on the newscast, Minister of Human Development, Social Transformation and Poverty Alleviation, Boots Martinez, commented. Following Otero's outcry on the newscast, Minister of Human Development, Social Transformation and Poverty Alleviation, Anthony Boots Martinez, commented to a local television station that the lots being distributed are not from national lands, but rather they were acquired from a Chinese landowner with the help in negotiations by Attorney General Wilfred Suddy Elrington. But his explanation begs the question. If lands are being purchased with taxpayers' dollars, does it not then become national land? It is a point that will be presented before the courts, but until that is presented, we sat down with Marshallek today to get an understanding of just what it is that the Village Council is opposing.
The claim that's been brought by the Village Council of Cotton Tree against the Minister of Natural Resources and the AG, it concerns the manner in which the subdivision was created, as well as the manner in which the lots derived from the subdivision are being distributed. With regard to the creation of the lots, the position of the claimant is that none of the statutory requirements imposed by the Village Council Act, the Land Utilization Act, and the Environmental Protection Act were complied with when the subdivision was created. In terms of the Village Council Act, the Act clearly says that there shall be no dealings with land in a village without first consulting the Village Council, and should the view of the minister differ, or the ministry differ from that of the council, of offering them an opportunity to convince them otherwise. The Act goes that far. So there is a procedure for involving the duly elected Village Council members in decision-making that affect lands within the village.
That is the basis of the council's complaint. But in addition to that, the council is also concerned about the way the land was subdivided without adhering to the Land Utilization Act, a move that basically grants lots to residents without any proper infrastructure or access roads in place.
There are laws governing the creation of subdivisions. They're readily and normally applied as against private individuals who wish to subdivide land in Belize. The Land Utilization Act requires that there be first application for provisional approval for the subdivision. Once that is had, the necessary infrastructure, roads, light, water are put in, and then final approval for the subdivision is given. Once final approval is given, then the subdivided lots can be alienated, they can be transferred, dealt with, bought and sold. Prior to that final subdivision approval, it's illegal to deal with the subdivided lots, so that a transfer of a purported lot created by a subdivision which lacks final subdivision approval is declared by the Act to be void and of no effect. The government has created this subdivision without going through any of the requirements of the Land Utilization Act. That is because I think they believe the provisions of the Act simply don't apply to subdivisions created by the minister himself. This creates the odd situation where a subdivision of this size can be created with absolutely no infrastructure having been put in place. If you visit the site of this subdivision, and lots are being distributed in the subdivision already by the government, there is not a street, there is not a drain, hasn't even been cleared. There's nothing. It's there in its natural vegetative state. Now, what is it that entitles the minister to do that? And is that fair to people who receive it? To be given the impression that they're giving a lot within a village, and it doesn't even have a street by which you could reach that lot. The law is designed to ensure that though that type of infrastructure is in place before sales or transfers of subdivided lots are in place, and we believe that that law applies equally to government as it does to private persons. So the claim also alleges that the subdivision was created in breach of all the regulations that would normally apply to the creation of subdivisions.
Other concerns included the environmental implications of the issuance of so many lots. But the matter takes a political twist as well, because Marshalleck says that there should be a distinct separation between being a member of the ruling party and being a representative of Belizeans on a whole.
That political arguments are what they are in Belize, but the fact remains that when the candidate of either political party wins an election and becomes an area rep and is appointed a minister and member of a cabinet, and he takes that seat, he then sits there as a minister of the government of the people of Belize, not as a UDP minister to look after the interests of the UDP. He's there to look after the interests of the Belizean people. And that is true whether the UDP is in power or the PUP is in power. We seem to have lost our way in that there is a general, well, it's my feeling, and I gather it from what is said, there's a failure to draw the distinction between being a member of a political party and a member of that party's government and exercising powers as a minister for on behalf of the public as a whole. Because the public as a whole includes all people, those that voted, those that didn't, whether they voted for you or against you. Mm-hmm. So that those statutory powers must be exercised taking into account the interest of everybody, and not only to promote your own political prospects.
Following the revelation that the Cotton Tree Village Council had acquired the services of Marshalleck, who works out of the law firm of the Prime Minister's brother Dennis Barrow, the perception of some was that it was political games as usual. But Marshalleck says that's not the case.
When I sit here as a lawyer and a client comes to me with a complaint, I look at the complaint and I make an assessment based on what I believe the law to be saying. I've set out what my belief of the law is, and I am prepared. Well, we're fully prepared to litigate that. So our stance is on giving effect to the law and assisting the client. It's not about putting any political interest first, and that is precisely the point we seek to make to the minister. It's not about putting the political interest first when you sit as a minister to do a job. It's about doing the job. And that's what I'm doing.
According to Marshalleck, the process in the courts can take an exceedingly long time, despite the fact that such an issue could be resolved within 6 to 8 months. Love News will keep following this story as it unfolds, and we will bring the outcomes to you. Reporting for Love News, I am Renee Trujillo.